the counterintuitive path to love, why having it together might be holding you back. Welcome to the Black CEO Podcast. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into a topic that's going to challenge everything you thought you knew about relationships and personal growth. We're about to embark on a journey that will shake the foundations of conventional wisdom and potentially revolutionize
The way you approach love, connection, and self-improvement. I recently had the incredible opportunity to interview Letitia Dorsey-McGaha, a certified life coach and the visionary behind Becoming Excellent. Let me tell you, this woman is not just changing lives. She's igniting a revolution in how we perceive personal development and relationships. Her insights are nothing short of transformative, and I can't wait to share them with you. Imagine for a moment that everything you've been told about being ready for a relationship is wrong. What if I told you that your quest for self-improvement might actually be the very thing holding you back from finding true love and connection? It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But that's exactly the paradigm-shifting concept that Letitia introduced to me, and it's about to turn your world upside down. Think back to the last time you heard someone say, "I'm not ready for a relationship. I need to work on myself first." It's a common refrain in our society, isn't it? And we've been conditioned to believe that we need to achieve some arbitrary level of personal perfection before we're worthy of love or companionship. But what if this widely accepted notion is not just misguided, but potentially harmful? This is the central paradox that Letitia challenges. The idea that we must have ourselves together in order to be in a relationship. It's a notion that's deeply ingrained in our culture, reinforced by self-help books, well-meaning friends, and even therapists. But what if this conventional wisdom is not just wrong, but actively preventing us from experiencing the very growth and fulfillment we're seeking? Let's break this down. When we say we need to have ourselves together, what do we really mean? Usually it's a combination of factors: financial stability, emotional maturity, a clear sense of purpose, maybe even a perfectly curated Instagram feed. We've created this idealized version of ourselves that we believe we need to achieve before we're relationship ready. But here's the kicker. This perfection doesn't exist. It's a mirage, always shimmering on the horizon, but never quite within reach. Now, I know what you're thinking, but surely it's better to work on ourselves before bringing someone else into the picture. And on the surface, that makes sense. After all, we've all heard the airplane safety instruction to put on our own oxygen mask before helping others. But relationships aren't airplane emergencies. They're living, breathing entities that grow and evolve with us. Letitia proposes a radical shift in perspective. Instead of viewing relationships as the reward for personal growth, what if we saw them as the catalyst for it? What if the very act of being in a relationship with all its challenges, vulnerabilities, and opportunities for connection is precisely what we need to truly grow and become our best selves? This idea flies in the face of our individualistic culture, where self-reliance is prized above all else. We're told to love ourselves first, to be complete on our own. But humans are inherently social creatures. We learn, grow, and thrive through our interactions with others. By isolating ourselves in the name of self-improvement, we might actually be stunting our growth. Think about it. When you're in a relationship, you're constantly challenged to communicate more effectively, to compromise, to see things from another perspective. You're faced with your own shortcomings and insecurities in a way that's impossible when you're alone. It's in the crucible of relationship that we often make our most significant personal breakthroughs. Let me share a story that illustrates this point perfectly. Letitia told me about a client of hers. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah was a successful lawyer in her mid-30s. She had a great career, a beautiful apartment, and a busy social life. By all outward appearances, she had it all together. But Sarah was perpetually single, always telling herself and others that she was working on herself before getting into a relationship. One day, Sarah decided to take a leap of faith. She started dating a man named Tom, even though she didn't feel entirely ready. To her surprise, being with Tom revealed aspects of herself she had never noticed before. She realized she had a tendency to be controlling, a trait that had never surfaced in her professional life or friendships. Through her relationship with Tom, Sarah learned to let go, to trust, to be vulnerable in ways she never had before. The growth Sarah experienced in her relationship with Tom was far more profound and rapid than anything she had achieved on her own. She didn't need to be perfect to start a relationship. The relationship itself became the vehicle for her personal growth. This story challenges the notion that we need to have ourselves fully together before we're ready for love. It suggests that perhaps it's through love and connection that we truly come into our own. But it's not just about personal growth. This mindset shift has profound implications for how we approach love and connection. When we believe we need to be perfect before we're worthy of love, we create barriers. We hold ourselves back, always waiting for that elusive moment when we'll finally feel ready. But readiness is a myth. We're all works in progress, constantly evolving and changing. By embracing the idea that we can grow within a relationship, we open ourselves up to deeper, more authentic connections. We allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to show our imperfections, and to grow alongside our partner. This creates a foundation of mutual support and understanding that's far stronger than any facade of perfection. Now, I can almost hear the skeptics among you. Yes, but what about toxic relationships? In other words, shouldn't we work on ourselves to avoid those? And it's a valid concern. But here's the thing: the ability to recognize and avoid toxic relationships is itself a skill that we often develop through experience. By engaging in relationships, even imperfect ones, we learn what we want, what we don't want, and how to set healthy boundaries. Letitia shared another powerful story with me that illustrates this point. She told me about a client named Mike who had been in a series of unhealthy relationships. Mike always blamed his partners for the problems, never looking inward. He decided he needed to work on himself before dating again, so he spent years in therapy and self-help programs. But it wasn't until Mike cautiously entered a new relationship that he truly began to understand his patterns. His new partner, Emily, gently pointed out behaviors that Mike had never noticed in himself. With Emily's support, Mike was able to confront his issues in real time in the context of a loving relationship. The growth he experienced was exponential compared to his years of solo work. Mike's story shows us that sometimes it's through relationship that we gain the self-awareness and tools to build healthier connections. It's not about being perfect before we start. It's about being willing to grow and learn within the relationship. Letitia's perspective doesn't mean we should throw caution to the wind and dive into any relationship that comes our way. Rather, it's about approaching relationships with an open mind and heart, seeing them as opportunities for growth rather than rewards for achievement. This shift in mindset can be liberating. It takes the pressure off of being perfect and allows us to be authentically ourselves. It encourages us to view our partners not as finished products, but as fellow travelers on the journey of personal growth. It fosters empathy, patience, and a deeper understanding of human nature. But the implications of this idea extend far beyond romantic relationships. Think about how this perspective could transform our friendships, our family dynamics, even our professional relationships. If we approach all our interactions as opportunities for mutual growth and learning, imagine how much richer and more fulfilling our lives could become. This brings us to another crucial point that Letitia emphasizes: the importance of continuous growth and learning, regardless of our relationship status. Whether we're single, dating, or in a long-term partnership, the goal should always be to keep evolving, to keep challenging ourselves, to keep becoming better versions of ourselves. In fact, this mindset of continuous growth is what truly prepares us for meaningful relationships. It's not about reaching some arbitrary benchmark of togetherness, but about cultivating a mindset of openness, curiosity, and willingness to learn. These are the qualities that make us good partners, friends, and colleagues. Now, I want to be clear. This doesn't mean we should ignore our personal issues or avoid self-reflection. Far from it. What Letitia is proposing is a both and approach rather than an either or. We can work on ourselves while also being open to relationships. We can strive for personal growth while also allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and connect with others. This perspective also challenges the notion of relationships as a means to complete us. You've probably heard the phrase "my better half" or the idea that we're searching for our other half. But this implies that we're somehow incomplete on our own. Letitia's approach suggests that we're already whole, but that relationships can help us become even better versions of ourselves. It's a subtle but powerful distinction. Instead of looking for someone to fill our gaps or fix our flaws, we're looking for someone to grow with, to challenge us, to inspire us to be our best selves. This creates a healthier, more balanced dynamic in relationships. But let's take a moment to address the elephant in the room. If we don't need to have ourselves together to be in a relationship, does that mean we should just ignore our problems and hope a relationship will fix everything? Absolutely not. That's not what Letitia is advocating at all. Instead, she's encouraging us to view personal growth and relationships as complementary, not mutually exclusive. It's about being honest about where we are in our journey, being open about our struggles and imperfections, and being willing to grow and learn both individually and within the context of our relationships. This approach requires courage. It's much easier to hide behind the excuse of, I'm not ready, than to put ourselves out there, imperfections and all. It requires vulnerability, which can be scary. But as Brené Brown has famously said, vulnerability is also the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. By embracing our imperfections and allowing ourselves to be seen, warts and all, we open the door to deeper, more meaningful connections. Now, you might be wondering, if I don't need to have myself together, how do I know when I'm ready for a relationship? It's a great question, and the answer might surprise you. According to Letitia's perspective, the key isn't some external measure of success or stability. It's not about having the perfect job, the perfect body, or having solved all your emotional issues. Instead, relationship readiness is about mindset. It's about being open to growth and learning. It's about being willing to communicate, to compromise, to see things from another person's perspective. It's about being committed to your own personal growth while also being open to the growth that comes from connection with others. This mindset shift can be incredibly freeing. It takes the pressure off of achieving some idealized version of yourself before you're allowed to seek love and connection. It acknowledges that we're all works in progress, and that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's beautiful. Our imperfections, our struggles, our ongoing journey of growth, these are the things that make us human, that make us relatable, that allow us to connect with others on a deep and meaningful level. But let's be clear, this isn't a call to complacency. It's not about settling or accepting less than you deserve. Rather, it's about redefining what it means to be ready for a relationship. It's about focusing on the qualities that truly matter in a partner and in ourselves. Qualities like empathy, communication skills, emotional intelligence, and a commitment to growth. This perspective also challenges us to be more accepting and understanding of our partners. If we acknowledge that none of us have it all together, that we're all on a journey of growth and self discovery, it becomes easier to extend grace and patience to our loved ones. It allows us to see their struggles not as deal breakers, but as opportunities for mutual support and growth. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, but what about self love? Don't we need to love ourselves before we can love someone else? It's a common piece of advice, and there's certainly truth to it. Self love is crucial, but here's the twist: self love isn't a destination, it's a journey. And sometimes the journey of self love is catalyzed and supported by the love we receive from others. Think about it. Often it's through the eyes of someone who loves us that we begin to see our own worth. It's through the support and encouragement of others that we find the strength to tackle our insecurities and grow. This doesn't mean we should rely on others for our self worth, but it does suggest that love, both given and received, can be a powerful force for personal growth and self acceptance. Letitia's perspective invites us to reimagine the relationship between self love, personal growth, and romantic relationships. Instead of seeing them as sequential steps, first self love, then personal growth, then relationship, we can view them as interconnected aspects of our lives that can grow and develop simultaneously, each supporting and enhancing the others. This brings us to another important point: the role of authenticity in relationships. When we let go of the need to have everything together before entering a relationship, we create space for true authenticity. We can show up as our real selves, not some polished, perfected version that we think others want to see. Authenticity is magnetic, it draws people to us and fosters deeper, more meaningful connections. When we're authentic, we give others permission to be authentic too. This creates relationships built on mutual understanding, acceptance, and support. The kind of relationships that can weather life storms, and stand the test of time. But embracing this mindset isn't always easy. We live in a culture that often equates worthiness with achievement, that tells us we need to tick certain boxes before we're deserving of love. Shifting away from this mindset requires conscious effort and sometimes a leap of faith. It requires us to challenge our own assumptions about what makes us worthy of love and connection. It asks us to embrace our imperfections, to be vulnerable, to be willing to grow and learn within the context of our relationships. It invites us to see our partners not as finished products, but as fellow travelers on the journey of life. This perspective also has implications for how we approach dating and relationship building. Instead of presenting a carefully curated version of ourselves, we can focus on being genuine and authentic from the start. Instead of trying to impress potential partners with our achievements or stability, we can engage in real conversations about our values, our goals, our struggles, and our dreams. Imagine how different dating could be if we approached it with this mindset. Instead of a series of interviews where we try to prove our worthiness, dates could become opportunities for genuine connection, for sharing our authentic selves, for exploring compatibility on a deeper level. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of Letitia's perspective is the way it reframes our view of personal growth itself. Instead of seeing growth as something we do in isolation, preparing ourselves for some future relationship, we can see it as a lifelong journey that's enhanced by our connections with others. This view acknowledges that some of our most profound personal growth happens within the context of our relationships, romantic and otherwise. It's often through our interactions with others that we confront our fears, challenge our assumptions, and push ourselves to become better versions of ourselves. So, as we wrap up this exploration of Letitia's counterintuitive idea, I want to leave you with a challenge, a call to action that might just transform your life and your relationships. First, I challenge you to examine your beliefs about relationships and personal growth. Are you holding yourself back from connection because you don't feel ready? Are you putting pressure on yourself to achieve some idealized version of togetherness before allowing yourself to seek love? What if instead you embrace the idea that you're already worthy of love and connection exactly as you are? What if you viewed relationships not as a reward for personal growth, but as a catalyst for it? What if you allowed yourself to be authentically you, imperfections and all, and trusted that the right person will appreciate you for who you are, including your willingness to grow and evolve? I challenge you to take this perspective out into the world. The next time you meet someone new, whether in a romantic context or not, resist the urge to present a polished, perfect version of yourself. Instead, be authentic. Share your dreams, your fears, your struggles. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. For those of you in relationships, I challenge you to see your partner with fresh eyes. Instead of focusing on their flaws or the ways they need to improve, appreciate them as a fellow traveler on this journey of growth. How can you support each other's evolution? How can you grow together? And for those of you who are single, I challenge you to reframe your perspective on readiness. Instead of waiting until you feel you have it all together, ask yourself, am I open to growth? Am I willing to learn and evolve with another person? If the answer is yes, then perhaps you're more ready than you think. Remember, life isn't about reaching some final state of perfection. It's about growth, about becoming. And often it's through our connections with others that we become our best selves. So don't wait until you feel you have it all together. Embrace the journey, imperfections and all. Because in the end, it's not about being perfect. It's about being authentically, unapologetically you. This shift in perspective has the power to transform not just our romantic lives, but all of our relationships. It encourages us to show up authentically, to embrace vulnerability, to see every interaction as an opportunity for growth and learning. So I urge you, challenge the notion that you need to have it all together before you're worthy of love. Embrace your imperfections, your ongoing journey of growth. Be open to the idea that relationships, romantic and otherwise, can be powerful catalysts for personal development. Take this idea and run with it. Share it with your friends, your family. Start conversations about it. Challenge the status quo. Because who knows? You might just start a revolution in how we approach love, connection, and personal growth. And remember, you are worthy of love and connection exactly as you are right now in this moment. Your willingness to grow, to learn, to evolve. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you worthy of love. So go forth, be brave, be vulnerable, Be authentically you. Embrace the messy, beautiful journey of growth and connection, because that's where the magic happens. That's where we truly come alive. Thank you for joining me on this transformative journey. Now, it's time for you to take these ideas and make them your own. The world is waiting for your authentic, imperfect, beautiful self. It's time to show up, connect, and grow. Are you ready?